Hi, how are you today? Today's topic of discussion is immunity. So, what is immunity? It is the body's ability to protect itself from diseases and harmful substances like bacteria, viruses, and toxins. Or it is the part of immune system's defense mechanism to recognize and attack and destroy anything harmful to body. While learning about immunity, you should know who is antigen and antibody. Antigens are the substances that trigger immune response in the body. For example, a bacteria, virus, fungi, or toxin, anything can trigger our immune system. So they are called antigens. Antigens are like an enemy that enters our body. Each antigen has special markers called epitopes on their body and that is recognized by our immune system and producing antibodies where antibodies are the proteins produced by the special immune cells called B cells to attack and neutralize a specific antigen. The term specific because it is like a lock and key. For specific antigen, specific antibodies there. Not every antigen is attacked by every antibody. They are specific. Examples for antibodies are IgA, IgE, and IgM, where antibodies are like a soldier created by our immune system. For better understanding, think of antigens are thief enters in our house, and antibodies are security guard to protect our house. Regarding types of immunity, there is innate immunity and adaptive immunity. Innate immunity means the immunity that we would get by birth, whereas adaptive immunity is to be acquired. So it is called acquired immunity also. Okay, in innate immunity, the components may be physical barriers like skin, chemical barriers like tears, enzymes, hormones, cellular defenses like WBCs, natural killer cells, etc. If we accidentally scrape our skin, then physical barrier is broken, isn't it? Pathogens can enter. But phagocytes rush to the area to engulf and destroy that invaders. Same time inflammation may occur. So all these are components of innate immunity, by birth immunity. Regarding adaptive immunity or acquired immunity, it can be of active and passive. These terms active and passive, you should have a thorough idea about this active and passive because you may get the questions like vaccinations come under which immunity, immunoglobulin injections comes under which immunity, like that. So an immunity is said to be active, then there is antigen and antibody response. In response to an antigens like bacteria, viruses, anything, antibody should form. Then only it is said to be active. While passive immunity means directly we are getting the antibody itself without any exposure with antigen. Both these type of active and passive immunities are natural and artificial type. Okay. For example, if we get chicken pox, our immune system fight the viruses and produces antibodies. And these antibodies provide long-term protection against chickenpox, preventing getting it again. Okay, that is example for natural but active immunity. And artificial active immunity means vaccinations. In vaccinations, we are injecting the weakened form of the organism itself, weakened form of the antigen itself. So antibodies will be formed in response to the vaccinations. So that it is an example for artificial but active immunity. Why it is said to be active? In response to the antigen, the antibody is forming in both these cases. Okay. And in case of passive immunity, natural example, maternal breast milk. Through maternal breast milk, we will get immunoglobulin A directly. So it is natural but passive. So through breast milk, IgA, we are getting which type of immunity? If you are getting the questions like which type of immunity we are getting through breast milk, it is natural passive immunity. Okay. And example for artificial passive immunity is directly injecting the immunoglobulins itself. Because here there is no antigen exposure. Directly immunoglobulins are getting. So it is artificial but passive immunity. Clear? Next is about types of immune cells. Immune cells are special types of cells mainly produced in bone marrow to protect us from infections, diseases, and foreign substances. Let's see the types of cells. The first immune cell is WBC or leukocytes. There are different types of WBCs: neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, lymphocytes, and monocytes. Neutrophils are the first responders to an infection. When an infectious process occurs, the first WBC comes to play is neutrophil. They help in phagocytosis also. Phagocytosis means engulfing of the bacteria or invading of the pathogens. Next one is eosinophil. Eosinophils fight with larger parasites like worms. When there is any parasitic infection occurs, the major role is played by eosinophil and it helps in release of histamines during inflammatory responses. Next one is basophil. Basophil also plays the release of histamines during inflammation. And one of the most important WBC is lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are of B cells, T cells, and natural killer cells. B cells are producing antibodies. T cells are of two types, helper T cells and killer T cells. Why it is called so? Killer T cells directly kills the pathogens, whereas helper T cells helps other immune cells to destroy pathogens. Okay, and remember, HIV affects helper T cells and natural killer cells destroy virus infected or tumor cells. And next WBC is monocytes. Monocytes are the largest WBCs and it also helps in phagocytosis. Okay, and the second group of immune cell is platelets, and you know platelets are involved in blood clotting, and the platelets helps or release of signals to recruit immune cells during inflammation. And the mast cells are found in tissue. They are also helps in the release of histamines. Okay, you may heard about the term herd immunity. It is nothing but resistance of community or group of people to a particular disease. So let's stop today's section. If you have any doubt, you can ask as comment. I will answer your questions. So far, we have covered all the points related to the topic immunity for your prometric examinations. So take a note of it and study well. Thank you.